Hello and welcome to another video from sickmaths.co.uk, where you will find the whole of GCSE Maths on video for free, so do check it out. So this video is about finding the mean, median and mode of groups of numbers. They're just different ways of finding the average, because the word average in English is quite a vague word, so there are different ways of understanding it. So you might say to find the average is the number that comes up the most. That's the mode, the most frequent number. Sometimes people might say it's the middle number. If you organize all the numbers in order, the middle number is called a median. Okay, and then there's another way you can work out the average, which is to work out the mean. Okay, and that is to add up all the numbers together in the group and divide by how many numbers there are. So for example, imagine these are heights of people. There's a 2-foot person, there's a 7-foot person, 4-foot person, whatever. Okay, now we're going to work out the mean of these numbers. So you add them all together and then divide by how many there are. There's 5 numbers, so divide by 5, and the answer is 4. So the mean average of these numbers is 4. To work out the mode, again, mode means the one that comes up the most, okay, most often. So 4 comes up the most often. None of the other numbers actually even repeat. So 4 again is the mode average. So they don't have to come out to the same result, but it kind of makes sense that if they would, because they're all trying to work out the average of the same group of numbers. So it's not surprising if it comes up with the same result. And the median, as we said before, is the middle number. Of course, you have to put it in order first, otherwise it's quite random just to pick the middle number. You have to put it in order first, from smallest to biggest, or the other way around, and then pick the middle, and that will give you the median average. Okay, let's do it again with a couple of other numbers. So we got 7, 9, 8, 6. We're going to find the mean, add the numbers together, divide by 4, because you've got 4 numbers, and you get 7.5. So the mean average of these numbers is 7.5. We're going to try to work out the mode now for these numbers. So what number comes up the most? Well, they all come equally the same amount of time, just once each. So the answer is none. Don't write 0, because 0 mean you're saying the mode, or the number that comes up the most often is 0. That's wrong. Okay, just write the word none. Okay, and we're going to find the median. Now this time we've got an even number of numbers, so you're not going to find a middle number. You're going to find 2 middle numbers. Okay, and so you have to find the middle of the middle numbers. So 7 and 8 are our middle numbers once you put it in order, and so the middle of 7 and 8 is 7.5 again. So it's not too surprising you get repeats, as we said before. Some people ask, how do you find the middle number? It's quite easy to see the middle number. I'm not going to show you a technique, because it just makes simple things complicated unnecessarily. Okay, you can easily see the middle of 5 numbers is going to be the third number. You can see 2 numbers either side, yeah. And if you've got even number of numbers, you always have 2 middle numbers, and you have to find the middle of the middles. Okay, now one thing is worth teaching is that if you have 2 numbers and it's not easy to see what's the middle of the middle of the 2 middle numbers, so for example you've got 7 and 100. What's the middle of 7 and 100? What you do is you add the 2 numbers together and then divide by 2. Okay, so in this case you've got 7 and 8, so you do 7 plus 8 is 15, divide by 2 and it's 7.5, and that's your job done. Okay, so that's how to find mean, mode and median basically. There is another situation when you've got groups of numbers. Okay, so how do you find the mean, mode and median for those situations? Let's work out the mean first of all. The mean is adding up all the numbers and then dividing by how many numbers you have. So the thing is, when you've got groups of numbers, you don't actually know what the numbers are, so how do you add them up? So you can only estimate the answer, okay? And the way you estimate it, to make it easier, you say pretend all the numbers in the group are right in the middle of the group. That's a fair thing to do, okay? You can't imagine they're all on one side. If you say they're in the middle, it kind of works out. I mean, let's just say that's the fairest thing to do, but mathematically it works out quite nicely as well. Anyway, that's something for you to think about. So what's the middle of each of these numbers? I've made an extra column here, okay, which is the class mid value. Okay, and group or class, there's different words for it. Okay, and so this group from 1 to 3 is one of our groups. It's another group 3 to 5, 5 to 7, and you got the class mid values over here. Okay, so the class mid value for 9 to 11 is 10, for example. Okay, so what we're going to pretend is that there are 2 numbers in this, well, there are 2 numbers. The frequency tells you there are 2 numbers here, but both of the numbers are 2. Okay, so if we add the two numbers together, 2 plus 2, you get 4. In this one, we're saying all the numbers in this group we're going to pretend are 4, okay, and there's 5 of those numbers, so 5 times 4 is 20, so that means if I add up all the numbers here, they will add up to 20, okay, so these are only estimates because we're pretending all the numbers are in the middle, and we do, so you can see, we're basically timesing these two columns together, and it gives you these totals, so these are the totals for each of the groups. Now if you add all of these up together, you get the totals for all of the groups all together. And if you add these together, these frequencies, this will tell you how many things there are. So we're talking about time for something. And by the way, if you're confused about this, these are called inequalities, and that's how you just write groups. Okay, that's another topic. Inequalities, INEQUALITES. Yeah, check out that video on my website, and it's very easy to understand. I don't really want to explain it here. Anyway, so what was I saying? What was I saying? So I've added up all the totals of all the totals. That's adding up everything, okay, roughly, because it's only an estimate. And then we're going to add up how many things there are all together. So we're saying there's these are the times for maybe a race, okay. And what is racing? Maybe there's lots of ants. So there's 2 ants who made it in this time, 5 ants who did it in that time. Altogether there are 20 ants, okay. So 114 seconds, if it's all measured in seconds, was the total time of all the races all together, right? And there's 20 ants, so you do the total, divide by how many there are. Okay, so 114 divided by 20, that gives you the mean. That's job done. 5.7 is the mean time for all the times taken. The modal class, modal means just another way of saying mode, yeah? Modal and mode have the same meaning. So the modal class is a class that's got the one that is the most frequent class, yeah? So that's obviously this class because it's got 8 ants in it, and the other classes have got less ants in it in the group. Okay, so that's an easy one. It's 5 to 7. And median, well, to find the median you have to well, there are 20 ants altogether doing these races, so the middle times for the ants are the 10th ant and the 11th ant if you put them in order. Now notice these are already in order, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, normally when you've got grouped frequencies, these are called grouped frequencies. Okay, they always put it in order, don't they? They don't have one class and then they don't have that class and then that class. They have it all in order of whatever. And so the middle middle times are going to be the 10th and the 11th, because if you think about it, that there's 20 ants, half of 20 is 10, so it's going to be, and because it's an even number, there's going to be 2 middle numbers, so the 2 middle numbers, if you can imagine, are going to be the 10th number and the 11th number. Anyway, so the 10th and 11th number, which group is that going to be is that going to be in? Is it going to be in the first 2? No, obviously not. If you add these 2 together, it gives you 7. So in the first 7 times are going to be in these 2 groups, and if I do 7 plus 8, that gives me 15. So the first 15 times are going to be in these 3 groups. So basically you can tell if the first 7 times are here and the first 15 times are there, that means the 10th and the 11th time must be in here as well. So because 15 down to the 7th time times are all in this group. So anyway, that means the 10th and 11th times, okay, fastest times for the race, whatever, are in this group, and so that must be the group where the median lies, and that's it.